Guys, so I'm just going to do a quick DSD review. I've had a couple people ask me about my DSD decoys. I know I did an unboxing earlier this year, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with it. So my trailer is just a 6x12 trailer. For these DSDs, they're all individually bagged. I don't like the 6 slots. I feel like it wears the flocking down, and not only are these single bagged, they're actually double bagged. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I do it anyways. I don't care. It keeps them nice. So they're actually in plastic in the bag. They do take a little bit longer to set, but for me, usually it's not a huge race setting up, so it's not a big deal. But what I did is just took some wood, kind of framed up like little bins. I used some of this snow fence just to keep little bins from knocking around. Normally I had bags hang on all these hooks, these 6 slots, but when I just sold off that rig and bought these DSDs, I went to this. I did break because I kneeled into it by mistake, but if I was going to do it again, I would take this little snow fence and do a little bit better stuff like the contractor grade, but it was like 80 bucks altogether just to do this. So I have 84 DSDs altogether. And I know they're super expensive. The decoys aren't for everybody. They're not magical decoys. They're not going to suck birds in from the heaven. You're not going to shoot limits just because you own them. I know guys are going to complain about the price and be haters because it seems like all the haters are coming out of the woodwork now. So these aren't magical decoys. If you do not have the money for these decoys, then do not buy them. There's other decoys to buy. You don't have to have these decoys. No one's saying you need them to kill birds. They're not magical. These are just good decoys made in the USA. They have great customer service at DSD. If there's problems, Brad or Robin, they usually make good on anything. I've had no problems at all with my DSD so far this year. I don't always use them. If I'm hunting by myself, I'm going to run small numbers or sometimes my skinnies, but if we can drive out, we'll run the DSD. So these are not for everybody. I know they're expensive, but some people make more money than other people. So to me, it wasn't a really big deal. I sold off like 12 dozen greenhead gear for these, so it's not a big deal to me. So like I said, built the bins, kind of double bagged. I have just enough for a walkway. You're supposed to actually get the square bases with the new DSDs, but I got the square and circle bases, and I actually like the square bases better. It's actually like more of a powder coat. They're a little bit shorter. These ones just like kind of straight, like painted and stuff. So I do like the square ones better. I don't know if they're gonna make all square next year, but I got half and half, which is fine. They do give you this little rubber grommet right here at the bottom, and that is to hook the motion system up, which I'll show you. And it's actually not a bad idea to put 2 of these on, because the hook is actually meant to hook onto this here rubber part, but you actually have to bend the hook up. It's not. So if you put 2 of these, one here, you can put the hook right in between, which I'll show you. So I'm gonna pull out this here decoy. Again, this is one of the feeders. Super nice, and you can just show I've used this for a whole season now, but just by double bagging, I know it's a pain in the butt, but they're in absolute mint condition. There's no issues at all. So with the square base, you're gonna pop it down, and then this little hooks right to the actual base itself. Like I said, it's meant to go on this, but I feel it's a pain in the butt and you have to bend it up. So just hook it right to that. The closer you get to it, usually allows less motion the farther away, or actually vice versa. I think is the farther away less, but usually keep it dead middle, like that. So it's a sharp looking decoy, there's no doubt about it. And I actually brought a wing from a bird from the other day just to show you as far as the color, how close it is. So here's a goose wing and here's the DSD. That is almost an exact match as far as color. I'm not saying it's 100% perfect, but that is super close of a color of a normal goose. It doesn't have like crazy feather detail. They said you can smush these in a little bit, kind of like almost like a Bigfoot, something like that, but just shows you the color, and I think that's pretty damn close. So I think as far as color wise, they're one of the more accurate decoys. As far as size and looks, I think they're pretty accurate. Definitely better than some, but like I said, these aren't magical decoys. They're not for everybody. If you can afford them, great. If you don't want to afford them, or you can't, then you can kill birds, other less stuff. I was killing birds over those skinnies for a good chunk of the season, so you don't absolutely need these decoys to kill birds. So save your comments about the price and stuff like that. This is to definitely a select few guys that are interested in these decoys, and they asked me to do a video, so that's what I'm doing. Pull out another couple ones here. The only thing that does kind of suck about the single bag or the bagging like this, you don't know what's in there, so sometimes it's like a little bit of a surprise. Like you can kind of feel around a little bit. Here's actually another feeder. Same thing, circle bases, which are a little bit taller. You hook your little hook right onto that, and there's your motion. You can, you know, carry them these by the bases for sure, just like that. So if you're gonna move around the spread, you can easily just carry them around. It's not a big deal at all. I did have one little clip here break, but you can easily, it's a bungee, you can easily put a new one on. It's not a big deal. You could either do a little bit more heavy duty. So that's just another feeder. I think that's like the 90-degree feeder, you know, again with the wing, you know, or whatever one I just did, that's super close to being 100% accurate of the color. I think they nailed the color for sure. I know a lot of decoys out there don't even come close. Like those green headgear commercial grades are nowhere near the color of a live goose. Not saying they won't kill birds and trick birds, but those are not even close. So let's see if I can find some more in here without going too crazy. But I have a lot of feeders. I bought 84 decoys, and I think like 60 of them are feeders. So I'm hoping I can kind of get a couple out here without... There's a rest there, I can tell. Again, the bags, single bags are kind of a pain in the butt, but it's not a big deal. I got a trailer, I can drive out to the fields a lot of times. It's not a big deal to me. So this is one of the rester poses. And not many decoys companies have this pose. I think it's pretty sharp looking. I mean, it looks, I guess, a little weird, but the poses aren't gonna affect anything whatsoever as far as birds coming in and whatnot. But like I said, you know, I kind of did the unboxing video, same thing, kind of just to show you what it looks like in the snow. They're pretty cool decoys. I've had no problems with them. I know some guys mentioned head splitting and stuff like that, but I haven't had any of those issues at all. So, you know, not to say I'll never have downline, but I know if you do have an issue, the guys at DSD will definitely hook you up. I've had the previous models, and I did have a couple split. They sent a new one in the box a couple days later, popped the old one in, sent it back, and it was a done deal. I haven't had an issue since. So I've been very happy with the customer service. I think a company's decoys are only good as the service. You know, if their customer service sucks, the decoys do too, for the most part, because if they don't make good on stuff, they're useless. So so that's basically what I did, just a quick rundown. You know, I could probably pull out a couple more poses here. I know most of you guys probably don't care at all. This is only for a few guys that are, you know, interested in here of seeing these decoys. You know, here's another active. What you can do is to stick them right into the snow too, so you can, you know, you don't always have to use the bases. Here, sitting in the snow, that's exact, you know, that looks pretty legit as is right there. So, you know, we just lost a lot of our snow. With 60 degrees today, so I can't unfortunately have a ton of scenarios and pictures for you, but that gives you a very good deal. But the flocking, like I said, I use these all year. The flocking's more or less perfect. No paint wear at all. So to me, they're worth the money. Like I said, I'm lucky enough to have a good job, good paying job, so it didn't affect me, you know, one bit. Whether it's $5 grand, for, you know, it's not a big deal to me. So I hunt hard, I hunt about 50 times a season, so I want stuff that's gonna last.